I would just say respect and keeping our friendship, kind of between us.
Yeah.
We don't share. This is what I do with my best friend is a dentist, in Miami. So I don't share her secrets. I don't treat any of my friends any differently than Beyonce and Kelly. We just honor each other's heart.
There's been a lot of talk lately, and word on the street is that with everything going on with Jay-Z, Beyonce is struggling to find comfort. But she does have one person she can rely on, Michelle Williams. Reports say that Michelle has been one of the few people Beyonce has been reaching out to, as the situation is becoming overwhelming for her. And trust, Bey is going to need all the support she can get, especially since Jane Doe recently shared new details about what allegedly happened to her on that fateful night when she was just 13 years old. By now, most of you have probably heard that Jay-Z was named in a lawsuit filed against Diddy by a woman claiming the incident took place when she was 13.
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
The situation surrounding Jay-Z and Beyonce has become incredibly stressful due to the serious nature of the allegations against them. Both Jay-Z and Beyonce have had to respond to people constantly linking them to Diddy in a negative light. According to sources, Beyonce has been standing by her husband through this turbulent time. She's made it clear that Jay-Z has taken strong actions, ordering his legal team to pursue anyone trying to wrongly associate him with Diddy or make false accusations. In fact, one of the more public displays of his resolve was when he threatened to sue Piers Morgan for giving a platform to someone who is spreading baseless claims about him. Jay-Z has made it clear he won't allow this smear campaign to slide, and Beyonce has been right there beside him, supporting him fully. She's publicly stated on numerous occasions that she's in this together with Jay-Z and they'll face these challenges as a united front, a stance that has meant a lot to him. This was before the lawsuit specifically mentioning Jay-Z even came to light, and according to reports, this lawsuit has made things much harder for Beyonce, despite Jay-Z reassuring her that the allegations against him aren't true, and expressing his frustration over being dragged into a situation related to his friendship with Diddy. It hasn't stopped Beyonce from feeling deeply embarrassed and horrified by the accusations. This overwhelming emotional toll has led Beyonce to seek comfort and support from a few people she can trust, and one of those people is Michelle Williams. Now, anyone familiar with the history of Destiny's Child knows that Michelle and Beyonce have maintained a close bond despite the challenges they faced during their time together in the group. In fact, in an interview with US Weekly in 2021, Michelle discussed how she had managed to maintain close relationships with all of her former bandmates, despite the media's attempts to fabricate narratives about jealousy, drama, and feuds between them. Michelle shared how they never let the pressures of fame and public perception get in the way of their respect for each other. She emphasized that there were disagreements, as with any group of friends or coworkers, but the bond between them was strong and rooted in mutual respect as both women and artists. In her own words, Michelle stated, "We just honor each other's hearts." Over 2 decades later, the three women still share the gift of friendship, something Michelle attributes to a combination of fate, success, and, of course, their shared passion for singing and performing. She remarked that their connection was so deep that it never truly felt like work, even though they poured their heart and soul into their music. Michelle spoke about how their bond had been a source of light for her during some of her darkest moments, and how she had shared the dream of living with two of the most amazing women as both co-workers and best friends. There were tough times, but Michelle emphasized that the deep respect they shared made all the challenges worth it. This bond between Michelle and Beyonce was evident recently when the three women, Beyonce, Michelle, and Kelly Rowland, reunited at the opening night of Death Becomes Her, a Broadway musical based on the 1992 film. It was clear that despite the years that have passed, the friendship and support between them remained as strong as ever. According to reports, Beyonce has recently turned to Michelle once again, as the ongoing situation with the lawsuit and the allegations surrounding Jay-Z have become unbearable for her. Word is that in recent days, Beyonce has spent a lot of time crying, and Michelle has reportedly been there for her, offering both emotional support and prayers as Beyonce grapples with her feelings and considers her next steps. Michelle has long been known as one of Beyonce's most spiritual friends, and her role in Beyonce's life has been especially significant during challenging moments. One of the most notable instances occurred in the early 2000s when Beyonce faced public backlash following the departures of LaToya Luckett and Latavia Roberson from Destiny's Child. Michelle was reportedly one of the first people Beyonce confided in during that difficult period, and their bond only deepened as a result. To this day, the two still communicate regularly, often speaking every evening when Michelle has time. It's no surprise that Beyonce would turn to Michelle in a moment like this. As the situation surrounding Jay-Z continues to unfold and the pressure mounts, Beyonce clearly needs someone she can rely on, and Michelle has been that person. Given the complexity of the case and the emotional toll it's taken on her, it's evident that Beyonce needs a strong support system, and Michelle has been by her side every step of the way now. As the legal battle intensifies, more details about the case involving Jay-Z have come to light. Recently, Jane Doe, the woman behind the lawsuit, gave an interview with NBC in which she recounted the details of her experience once again. According to Jane Doe, she was living in Rochester, New York in 2000, and attending the MTV Video Music Awards had been on her bucket list since she was 13. A friend who is now deceased drove her to the event. However, Jane Doe claims she didn't have a ticket and instead watched part of the show from a jumbotron outside. She later began talking to limo drivers in hopes of finding a way to get a ticket, and that's when one of Diddy's drivers allegedly told her that she was the type of person Diddy was looking for, according to Jane Doe's account. She was driven in the limo for about 20 minutes before arriving at a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. She claims she even had a conversation with celebrities like Benji Madden during this time. Jane Doe said she was offered a drink that made her feel lightheaded and woozy, and eventually, she says she found herself in an empty bedroom, which only had a large bed with no other furniture. It was her. She alleges that Jay-Z and Diddy forced themselves on her, with a female celebrity reportedly witnessing the incident. Jane Doe managed to escape the situation and eventually made her way to a gas station, where she called her father to come pick her up and take her home. However, NBC's investigation into her claims raised several inconsistencies. For instance, Jane Doe said her father picked her up after the alleged incident, but when NBC spoke to him, he claimed not to remember this event. Additionally, Jane Doe mentioned talking to Benji Madden at the after-party, but his representative confirmed that he wasn't even in New York at the time. Furthermore, images from that evening placed Jay-Z and Diddy at a different location than the one Jane Doe described. Although their exact whereabouts remain unclear despite these inconsistencies, Jane Doe has remained adamant about her allegations. She stated that the discrepancies in her account don't necessarily disprove her claims. She acknowledged the inconsistencies, but maintained that she's telling the truth to the best of her memory. She also shared some personal details about her life since the alleged incident, such as having 2 children and serving in the Army National Guard. She explained that she had received a Christian counseling certification to help others who have been through similar experiences. Her lawyer, Tony Busby, also stood by her, emphasizing that his client is still firm in her claims. According to Busby, Jane Doe agreed to undergo a polygraph test, a request that he claims is unusual but demonstrates.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background. So it was just something that...
The situation surrounding Jay-Z and Diddy has continued to escalate, and now more details are coming to light. Jane Doe, the woman behind the allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy, has been recounting her experience to the press, but there are a number of inconsistencies in her account. Jane Doe has claimed that after a brief conversation with Benji Madden at the after-party, she was offered a drink that caused her to feel lightheaded and dizzy. She then says she wandered down a hallway containing several rooms and entered an empty bedroom to rest. The room was sparsely furnished, containing only a large bed. It was there that she alleges that Jay-Z and Diddy forced themselves on her, while a female celebrity supposedly witnessed the incident. According to Jane Doe, she managed to escape the situation and went to a gas station where she called her father to pick her up, and they then drove home. However, NBC's investigation into her claims has revealed several inconsistencies. First, Jane Doe said her father picked her up after the incident, but he told NBC that he doesn't remember this happening. Additionally, Jane Doe claimed to have spoken with Benji Madden at the after-party, but his representative confirmed he was not in New York at the time. Furthermore, images from that evening show Jay-Z and Diddy at a different location than the one described by Jane Doe, although their whereabouts for the entire evening remain unclear. Despite these inconsistencies, Jane Doe has maintained that her allegations are true. She explained to NBC that she stands by her story, and that the discrepancies in her account from 24 years ago do not mean the allegations are false. She also shared personal details about her life since the incident, including having 2 children, serving briefly in the Army National Guard, earning her high school diploma, and getting certified in Christian counseling to help others who have experienced similar trauma. In response to the inconsistencies in her account, Jane Doe's lawyer, Tony Busby, has asserted that they are continuing to investigate the case. He emphasized that his client remains adamant about the truth of her allegations. Busby also pointed out that Jane Doe had agreed to take a polygraph test, which he noted was an unusual step for a client to take. According to Busby, his firm vetted the case before moving forward, and the client has signed 2 affidavits confirming her story. Busby stated that Jane Doe has been deeply affected by the case, even experiencing seizures due to the emotional stress. Busby also told of the situation. It's been reported that she has turned to her longtime friend Michelle Williams for comfort and support. Michelle, known for her spiritual nature, has reportedly been a source of solace for Beyonce during this difficult time. It's clear that Beyonce is going to need all the support she can get in the coming weeks as the case continues to unfold. As the drama intensifies, it's likely that Michelle will have to continue comforting her friend through this ongoing ordeal. In the meantime, many are left wondering how this case will ultimately play out. What do you think about Beyonce turning to Michelle for support? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. He revealed that his firm had sent a letter to Jay-Z's legal team offering to discuss the claims privately, but they were met with a public lawsuit accusing Busby personally of extortion. Busby denied this accusation, stating that no monetary